And then we will come back. Alright, so I'm going to get you a video on the Kaaba, correct?
Yeah.
And this class actually managed to start talking about the life of Muhammad.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we actually.
You finished the whole thing?
Yeah. We got to like his death.
Did we talk about the Hijra?
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Zach?
Yeah, we did.
Alright. Alright. So we finished out with Muhammad's death.
Oh, yeah, we were talking about the
Well, that was past that. Did we get? We did that, but that was earlier. Did we get to Muhammad's death?
Yeah, we got to Muhammad's death.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we got there.
How did Muhammad die? How did we die?
He died at the age of 62, an illness, old age most likely.
Yeah, old age.
I mean, guys, I don't know if I said this yesterday, but you can stop me, I know you talked about it today. Average life expectancy back here is probably like 35. I mean, what? 70s. Once you're in Japan, it's in the 80s.
Yeah.
You know? So, just because we think 62 is a little bit young here, that's a pretty long life, okay? And pretty old. So if your average life expectancy is in the 30s, and that happens because you got high mortality rate, you got, disease, you got plague, you got war, you got famine, all of those factors lead into it. The example I gave the other two blocks is what you don't actually realize is, so all these quinces that you're going to, sometimes they call them cotillions, sweet 16s, bar mitzvahs, okay? Confirmation, okay? All of these things back in the day were actually a coming out party. Nope. You tell people that your daughter is ready to be married.
What the fuck?
That's like the roots of all of it was basically to say, she's 13, she's able to have kids, she's allowed to get married. Yep. Because if your average life expectancy was 30, 13 you started the marriage process, you were married by 15, you're having kids by 16 or 17. So, if you want a perspective on how far the world has changed in that time period, right? In urban areas, the average age of marriage now is like 30, like 28 or 9 or something like that. People are having kids until 32. Right? So, that's how it is. And this lasted actually well until the 1800s at least, and longer depending upon, the culture and the society. But, this idea that, 13, 14, 15-year-olds were too young to get married or have kids did not exist. Like, that was perfectly normal. So, all these parties that you go to, that was their original intent. And they had variations for both boys and girls. This coming of age or coming out party, however you want to describe it, the whole purpose was to say, hey, I'm now an adult. Okay? And, particularly with the female ones, it was really come meet have all the eligible guys come over and meet her and see if there's a proper fit for marriage. So, Muhammad lived to 62. It was a pretty good age. And he was probably revered as not just a prophet, but also as an elder in society. So, not counting Mormonism right here, right now, just time-wise, because Mormonism comes much, much, much later. Though Mormonism is an Abrahamic religion, okay? We have focused a bit of time on the three initial Abrahamic religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. And in today's day and age, where we talk about how great the differences are between us, how we share nothing in common, certainly from a religious perspective, we actually share a lot in common, okay? All three of these religions believe in one God. They believe in the same God. They might call the God something different, a different name. Christians call it God. Jews call it Yahweh. Muslims call it Allah. But theologically, it is the same God, and they are not different gods. So if you get bigots who sit there and say, you know, Muslims don't believe in the same God, or Jews don't believe in the same God, we all believe in the same God.
But Jewish, they don't like to say the word Yahweh.
They do not like to say the word Yahweh, that is correct.
Would you like an orange?
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Bro,
Bruno.
Right.
Yo, Bruno. I appreciate it. Bruno.
We all call it oranges.
Yo, hey, Osama.
Why is this just so serious?
Clementines?
Why?
They're not actually oranges, they're clementines. Okay? Anyways, so, you're right, Jews, the reason, I mean, you know why?
no, I don't know why.
I've heard of that. I don't know why.
I think Father Ed actually talked about it in convocation.
They want to put a name, they want to like limit.
Yeah, correct. They think that by defining a, something with a name, limits how great they can be.
It's like the
And so they don't use the word Yahweh because you're defining God as something, and therefore you're limiting what God can do, and God is not limited, right?
Okay, but like, if it wasn't for like, if we all share one God, like, what's so different?
That's the question.
They praise him the way that we do. Each religion, like the Abrahamic religion, they praise him differently.
We have all developed different rituals and customs to worship the same God. Even within Christianity, okay? Are you Christian or no? Or roughly? Okay, even within Christianity, there's a huge difference between how, say, Catholics and Seventh-day Adventists or Baptists or somebody else, how they do it. So, I mean, we have all over time developed our own traditions and cultures and habits for how we worship God and how we interpret the Bible and what we do. But we all have the exact same roots. So, believe in one God, believe in many of the same prophets, okay? Jews don't accept anybody Jesus or after. Christians accept up to Jesus. Muslims accept Jesus and Muhammad. And the Mormons accept all of them. We have similar practices with regards to moral laws, right? We have the Ten Commandments. The Jews and the Muslims have their own version of it. Similar ideas about charity and giving back, prayer, fasting, the afterlife, judgment day, okay? And, you know, ultimately a belief that we're supposed to live a good life and be ethical people. So when we get in more specifically to them, again, they're all monotheistic, okay? They're all Abrahamic. The Christians use the Bible, which has the Old and the New Testaments as their holy book. The Muslims use the Quran, which is made up of the revealed word to Muhammad from the angel Jibril, and the Hadith, Hadiths, which is sort of like Muhammad's interpretation of the revealed word. And then the Jews, you'll more often hear the word Torah as their Bible, their holy book. The Torah, if I recall correctly, is just the first 5 books of the Old Testament. Okay? The Tanakh, which is kind of like the actual Bible, is the first 5 books plus interpretations plus other aspects that are sort of unique to the Jews. So like if you think about the Christian Old Testament, yeah, we have the same 5 books, but then we have a bunch of other stuff in there as well. Okay? And then obviously Christians have the New Testament that goes with it. If you get asked on the test, I will not ask you to differentiate between Tanakh and Torah. And I will generally probably use Torah mainly because it'll be the word that you hear more often.
Okay.
Okay? Yeah.
No, I was saying my question was, you literally just answered it, but I was saying, is the Tanakh like the Torah part 2, or is it like its own separate book? Like,
I'll double check it. I believe